Hello everyone, welcome to Arpita ki NCERT Kaksha. Today we are going to start with another chapter in the Contemporary World Politics NCERT class 12th, and this chapter we are going to talk about bipolarity, how bipolarity ended, how Cold War ended and what happened after Cold War. Okay, Cold War खत्म होने के बाद क्या होता है, all of that we are going to study in this chapter. Now when we talk about the chapter, the name is The End of Bipolarity. What do you understand by this term? Bipolarity, you can write it down. This is important for not just your PSIR optional, but also for GS paper 2 and your essay ka paper. Okay, so we need to understand the meaning. Also for prelims, this term is really important. Bipolarity, what does it mean? It means distribution of power between two countries of the world which has the majority of regional or global influence, whether economically, politically, militarily or culturally. That is bipolarity. जब पूरे दुनिया की, विश्व की, चाहे कल्चरली हो, इकोनॉमिकली हो, मिलिट्री वाइज हो, पावर दो कंट्रीज के बीच में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाती है, डिवाइड हो जाती है, वो बाइपोलैरिटी कहते हैं उसे. And what is polarity? This term is often in news, so that is why it's important for paper 2 and for your prelims. Polarity in political science, it indicates the ways in which global powers are distributed. Write it down. The ways in which the global power or powers are distributed. Okay, ways in which global powers are distributed. That is the meaning of polarity. Bipolarity means when the power is distributed between two countries. Now the chapter says end of bipolarity, which means now the Cold War has ended. Okay, distribution between two countries, that has ended. That is the meaning of the chapter. यही इस chapter का term का meaning है. Then there is unipolarity also. There is another term called unipolarity. Now you must have understood so far what is unipolarity. When the power is in the hand of one nation, global power जो है वो एक nation के हाथ में है, तो उसको हम unipolarity बोलते हैं. Bi means two, uni means one, polarity means the ways in which global powers are distributed. What powers? Global powers. Okay. Now after World War II, we know that Cold War started between USA and USSR. Why it started, we have discussed all of that. Basically it was a fight of ideology. So the two ideologies came to the forefront, communism and capitalism. When we talk about communism, you have to understand over here, यहाँ पर आपको ये समझने की जरूरत है कि what exactly is communism. I hope you have noted this down. Polarity का meaning, इसलिए I am rubbing it off. Okay. So here, when we talk about the word communism, communism in political science, what does it mean? It comes from a Latin word. एक Latin word से निकल कर आता है, which is communis. Okay, which is communis, or it is in English known as common, or you can call it universal. ठीक है, in Latin it is known as communis, in English it means common or universal. So it is basically a political ideology. Okay, ये एक political ideology है, which means that a system in which goods are owned in common and are available to all as needed. That means all the goods, they have common universal ownership and they are available to those people who need them. That is communism. So it's a theory, or you can say system of social organization in which all the property, underline, all the property is owned by the community and each person contributes and receives according to their ability and needs. मतलब जितनी आपको जरूरत है उतना आपको मिलेगा. The goods or the things are you can say shared by everybody, but you will receive what you need to receive. Okay, goods universally owned है, but आपको आपकी ability, काबिलियत और आपकी जरूरत, तो these are two terms, ability and needs. काबिलियत और जरूरत के हिसाब से ही चीजें मिलेंगी, so that there is equitable distribution of things. Okay, that is communism, but they are owned universally. Alright, then is the another important aspect of communism is example. What can be the example of communism? The example of communism could be seen in USSR and even in China. Now communism basically represents classless society in which all the property and wealth are communally owned instead of by individuals. So it's an economic ideology which advocates for a classless society. And this ideology was developed by who? By Karl Marx. कार्ल मार्क्स ने ना कम्युनिस्ट आइडियोलॉजी निकाली थी, ये आपको पॉइंट याद रखना है. ओके, पॉइंट क्लियर. Now next is capitalism. Capitalism can also be seen, it is very prominently seen in USA and it can also be seen in India. India में भी आप देखोगे capitalism है, consumerism है. So what is capitalism? It is an economic system. ये भी एक तरीके का economic system है which is based on private ownership. It is based on, write it down, private ownership and what kind of private ownership? Private ownership of the means of production. मतलब जो produce कर रहा है ना वो privately production को and resources of production को own करता है and their operation for profit, that is capitalism. उसको हम capitalism बोलेंगे. So here it's a economic system in which private individuals or businesses they own capital goods. At the same time, business owners who are known as capitalists, they employ workers and those workers are known as labor who only receive the wages. These labor will receive only the wages. Profit will go to the business owners, the capitalists. Labor does not own the means of production. The means of production are owned by the business owners, that is the capitalist. Okay, point clear हो गया. तो ये आपका capitalism हो जाता है. This is the example of capitalism, very prominently can be seen in the Western nations. Even in India आप capitalism का example देखोगे in the industrial sector. Right? Now, when we talk about USSR, we have studied how the Cold War, started. We have studied the impact of Cold War. Another important aspect here is that how this USSR was born. ये USSR बना कैसे? So we have studied the Russian Revolution in class 10th. हमने class 10th में पढ़ा था Russian Revolution के बारे में. So in 1917, the Russian Socialist Revolution took place. After this revolution, they adopted the philosophy of communism. And that is when the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic was formed. So it existed from 1922 till 1991 when the USSR started breaking up. 1991 में पूरी तरीके से USSR की 15 रिपब्लिक्स जो थी वो डिसइंटीग्रेट हो गई थी. 15 नेशंस थे जो USSR 15 नेशन से मिलकर बना था. बट 1991 में ये सभी 15 नेशंस टूट गए, इनका विभाजन हो गया. एंड दैट इज हाउ वी गॉट द डिसइंटीग्रेशन ऑफ USSR एंड रशिया इमर्ज्ड टू बी द सोल लीडर इन USSR. Okay. And this USSR now, it was a one party state. It was governed by the Communist Party of Soviet Union. तो ये वैसे तो initially 21 republics थे, later on they were converted into 15 republics. कुछ countries आपस में merge हो गई थी. And ये जो government थी USSR की and the economy of USSR, they were highly centralized. 1991 तक आते आते ना this centralization, this one party regime in USSR, it became very monotonous and people started protesting, nations started protesting against it. That is also one of the reasons why USSR started breaking up. We will study the the reasons also. It was becoming very bureaucratic. मतलब no opposition party, no other political party was allowed to function in USSR. Only one party rule was there, and that is why it was becoming dictatorial in nature. Okay. Now, initially the purpose of creating USSR was to create, secure environment for the poor, for the vulnerable, to become an egalitarian society, to become equitable. ये तो इनिशियल पर्पस था, बट हमको पता है काफी ऐसे केसेस हुए हैं नेशंस के जब पर्पस इनिशियली बहुत प्योर होता है, बाद में आते आते वो प्योरिटी ही डिक्टेटोरियल बन जाती है. ओके. And here this USSR was it has started becoming or converting into a Soviet system. ये जो USSR है ना ये Soviet system में convert हो रहा था. The style of functioning of USSR was known as Soviet system. We will study about the economic and political features of the Soviet system. First, let us start with the economic feature of Soviet system. Economic feature means the USSR's economic characteristics. What was the economy like in USSR and what kind of rules they used to follow. Now, when we talk about USSR or the Soviet system, the economic feature number one is that it was based on socialism. As I told you, they followed the communist mindset. इन्होंने communism के mindset को, कार्ल मार्क्स को follow करना शुरू कर दिया था. So basically, here all the economic decisions were taken by government, keeping in mind the society's interest and welfare. Government, because one party rule was there, okay, तो सारे decision government ही लेती थी, but लोगों के हित को दिमाग में रखते हुए, उनके welfare को दिमाग में रखते हुए. Now, when we talk about Soviet Union, it had two major features. First feature was the political feature, second was the economic feature. In the political feature, the Soviet political system was centered only around the Communist Party. So there were no opposition which was allowed to function, no other party was allowed to form. Second was the economic feature, wherein the economy was planned and it was controlled by the state. So state ownership was the dominant form of ownership. Land and productive assets were owned and controlled by the Soviet state only. There were other, you can say characteristic features of Soviet Union. For example, the investment also was under the control of the state. They were dependent more on natural resources. Public ownership was there in the industrial assets. There was, yes, initially there was macroeconomic stability. However, later on, the macroeconomic stability started declining. Initially, there was high job security and unemployment was also negligible. So these were the basic features or characteristics of the Soviet Union. So here, let us summarize. We have studied so far that Soviet Union, which was USSR, it was formed after the 1917 ka socialist revolution in Russia. This socialist revolution was the biggest attempt in the world to abolish institution of private property. It was a very consciously, very cleverly designed society which was based on the principles of equality. So they wanted an egalitarian society. They wanted a society wherein everything is available as per the needs of the people. If they need it, it should be given to them. Okay, there should be no inequality that if a poor person is starving, then he would not receive food. No, this kind of idea was not there in the Soviet system. They wanted that whether you are black or white, whether you are a girl or a boy, man or a woman, old or young, whether you are from different caste or different, you follow different religion, you should be given what you need. So आपकी ज़रूरतें पूरी होनी चाहिए. The people should not be starved of their basic needs. Okay, their needs have to be fulfilled. That was the idea behind starting USSR. The idea was quite good, but we will study how this idea faded and how USSR disintegrated in the coming years. The makers of the Soviet system, their primary focus was also on the planned economy. They wanted that the state should control the economy and state should fulfill the demands and aspirations of the people. There was one communist party, no other political party was allowed. So after the Second World War, the East European countries, in the first lecture of this NCERT, we studied that the East European countries went to the side of USSR, right? Why? Because after Second World War, East European countries, were liberated by Soviet army. That is why their inclination and alliance was towards this USSR. सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर के बाद जितनी भी ईस्ट यूरोपियन कंट्रीज थी उनको लिबरेट करने का काम किसका था? सोवियत आर्मी ने किया था. फासिस्ट फोर्सेस से उनको लिबरेट किया गया था, इसीलिए वो यूएसएसआर की तरफ इंक्लाइंड हुई थी. The political and economic system of these countries which were colonized before, they were modeled after the USSR only, based on socialism and communism. So this group of countries were known as Second World or the Socialist Bloc. The first world countries were the Western nations and those countries which supported the Western nation, that is the USA. Then there was Warsaw Pact. We studied this in the first lecture. This was a military group, military alliance. Here also the East European countries along with USSR together, they formed the Warsaw Pact. USSR was of course the leader of the Second World Bloc. First World Bloc के leader was USA. Second World Bloc leader was USSR. Third World में कौन आ जाता है? India and other countries who supported the non-aligned movement. Okay, and here in USSR also now Russia dominated everything, and still now after USSR disintegrated, Russia emerged as a superpower. राइट, रशिया और यूएस अभी भी आपस में टक्कर में रहते हैं क्योंकि यूएसएसआर के डिसइंटीग्रेट होने के बाद भी रशिया बहुत पावरफुल कंट्री के तौर पर उभर कर आई है. And still it is trying to expand its territory. The Russia-Ukraine war is the example of that. It is trying to regain back its territory. Now, why this USSR started breaking down in the later years? That happened because as compared to USA, now USSR lagged behind in terms of technology and infrastructure. The first world bloc, which was the USA, and the second world bloc, which was USSR, they were against each other. But USA had far better technology when it comes to USSR, when it comes to comparison between the both. So Soviet Union was lacking in terms of technology, infrastructure, and that is why it was unable in the later years to fulfill the political and economic aspiration of its citizens. and that is also the reason why this USSR started disintegrating. And then in 1979, Soviet Union, it invaded Afghanistan. That also further weakened the system of Soviet Union. Right, Soviet Union ने 1979 में अफगानिस्तान को इन्वेड किया. There was this very famous, you will study about it in world history, the Soviet Afghan War. बहुत ही famous ये Soviet Afghan War हुआ था, ठीक है. And what was the result? The Geneva Accord of 1988 was signed between both the nations. But here the Soviet Union was basically defeated in this war. Okay, उन्होंने invade तो किया, but अफगान मुजाहिदीन जो है वो जीत गए इस war में, and Soviet forces had to withdraw themselves from Afghanistan. Okay, so that happened here in Afghanistan, and after that, militarily also and financially also, Soviet Union started disintegrated. It started declining. मिलिट्री वाइज देख लो या इकोनॉमिकली देख लो इनकी पावर कमजोर होती चली गई 1979 के बाद. राइट, वेजेस वर कंटिन्यूइंग टू ग्रो. ऐसा नहीं कि वेजेस कम हो रहे थे, वेजेस तो बढ़ रहे थे, बट प्रोडक्टिविटी वाज फॉलिंग डाउन बिकॉज द financial stability was falling down. Technology भी नहीं थी, they did not have the technology, so productivity was going down in comparison with the West, which led to the shortages in all the consumer goods. Food imports increased, and because of that, financial condition of Soviet Union started weakening. रशिया का जो करेंसी है वो गिरने लगा, राइट, रूबल जो है वो गिरने लगा नीचे. Then later on in 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev, he became the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Soviet Union. Now he thought that there is a need to bring reform system in the Soviet Union, because right now we are failing at all the aspects, whether it is technology or economy or politically also, and when it comes to citizen satisfaction also, we are falling down. Citizens are not satisfied with us. We do not have the enough financial stability, and also our currency is weakening. So that is why we need to bring reforms. So when he became the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Soviet Union in 1985, he thought, and he also declared, that I am going to bring reforms in the Soviet Union. I am going to first step, Mikhail said that I am going to normalize relations with the West, because this war has to end. Cold War has ended, but still we are, comparing ourselves with the West. We have to stop that comparison, and we have to normalize our relations. Normalize relations means we have to, be ready to take their help also. Normalize relation मतलब क्या होता है कि भाई रिश्ते नॉर्मल करो, अगर जरूरत पड़ी उनकी हेल्प लेने की तो वो भी लेंगे हम. But few people were not happy with this step. Few countries, few nations in the USSR, they were not happy to normalize their relation with the West. People in the East European countries, which were part of Soviet bloc, started to protest against their own government, against these kind of reforms which Mikhail was bringing. कुछ nations थे USSR के जो पार्ट थे, वो कहने लगे कि भाई हम वेस्ट के आगे नहीं झुकेंगे, ये रिफॉर्म्स का मतलब है कि झुकना, हम नहीं झुकेंगे. So that is why they started falling off of the Soviet Union. सोवियत यूनियन से बाहर निकलने की कोशिश होनी शुरू हो गई. Okay, and when these disturbances were going on, now Mikhail Gorbachev knew that I cannot stop these countries from leaving Soviet Union. ठीक है, इन्होंने एक बार डिसीजन लिया, because already our political system is falling down, economically we are falling down, there is no other resort than to go towards the West and normalize our relations, but these nations are not going to accept my reform system, so I'm not going to interfere. So Soviet Union and Gorbachev did not intervene when the disturbances were occurring, and that is why slowly and gradually the nation started coming out of the Soviet Union bloc. धीरे धीरे जो जो नेशन सोवियत यूनियन का पार्ट थे, धीरे धीरे वो बाहर निकलना शुरू हो गए. And finally USSR disintegrated, and when USSR started breaking down, there was CIS, which was formed, Commonwealth of Independent States. Now this is important for prelims, ये आपके pre के लिए important है. What is CIS, Commonwealth of Independent States? Commonwealth of Independent States, its founders are, please write it down, the founders are, this is important for prelims, Russia, Ukraine and Belarus. These were the founder nations of CIS. Okay, headquarters of CIS, it's in Belarus, Minsk. Belarus में जो मिन्स्क है वहां पर इसका headquarters है, and it was founded on, this is also important for prelims, it was founded on 8th of December 1991, the same year when USSR disintegrated. 1991 में USSR बिखर जाता है और सेम ईयर में CIS तैयार हो जाता है. So Commonwealth of Independent States is a regional intergovernmental organization where in the Eastern Europe and Asia. It is an intergovernmental organization, regional organization, and it was formed following the dissolution of Soviet Union in 1991. So what does this organization do? This organization basically encourages cooperation in economic, political and military affairs. It has certain powers related to the coordination of trade, finance, lawmaking and security. It has also promoted cooperation on cross-border crime prevention. That also you have to remember. And there are total 9 member states in this organization. Which are these 9 member states? This is important again for prelims. First is Armenia. Second is Azerbaijan. Okay. Then third is obviously Belarus, because it was also the founding nation. Fourth is Russia. Then fifth is Kazakhstan. Write it down. Kazakhstan is fifth. Then sixth is Kyrgyzstan. Okay. Seventh is Moldova. Eighth is Tajikistan. And ninth is Uzbekistan. Then there is one associate state also which is a part of this organization. That one associate state is Turkmenistan. Okay. And one here we have observer state. इसी में हमारा एक ऑब्जर्वर स्टेट भी है जो मेंबर है इसका. मेंबर मीन्स इट्स नॉट अ फॉर्मल मेंबर बट इट्स एन ऑब्जर्वर मेंबर विच इज मंगोलिया. तो ये पॉइंट्स आपको याद रखने हैं. दिस यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. ऑलराइट. तो यहाँ पर यूक्रेन इज नॉट अ मेंबर स्टेट. ठीक है. यहाँ पर यूक्रेन यस इनिशियली इट हेल्प टू फाउंड दिस एंड एस्टैब्लिश दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. राइट नाउ इट इज नॉट द मेंबर. Point clear? Very good. Russia and Belarus are the member. Now here we need to study another very important concept in this chapter, which is the shock therapy in post-communist regimes. Post-communist, that means when the USSR disintegrated, after that whatever nation building, whatever regimes or whatever countries came into the forefront, they experienced the shock therapy. Now, have you seen in the movies when a person, he dies or, he's presumed as dead, he is given a shock therapy so that his heartbeat can be, restarted. So, similar shock therapy was given to all those nations who came out of USSR. होता क्या है मूवीज में आपने देखा होगा जब कोई इंसान ऐसा लगता है कि मर गया उसकी हार्ट बीट बंद हो गई तो उसको शॉक थेरेपी दी जाती है कि भाई उसकी हार्ट बीट को रिवाइव करने के लिए टू रिवाइव द पर्सन शॉक थेरेपी इज गिवन. ओके. To see if the person's heartbeat can restart or can revive. Now here the countries which were following communist regimes, socialist regimes since so many years, they now stepped out of USSR. So the Western nations and the other nations wanted to give them the shock therapy. Shock therapy means the transition from an authoritarian socialist system to a democratic capitalist system. Because we know the Western nations they were following capitalism. हमने initially पढ़ा था ना Western system में capitalism follow किया जाता था. तो अब ये जो countries USSR से निकल कर आ रही थी ये तो भाई one party system follow करती थी. These USSR based countries they used to follow the one party systems for so many years. Now they were coming out of that authoritarian group, right? So now they were being exposed to the world of capitalism. And that was a kind of shock therapy for those nations. So shock therapy is an economic theory that says that sudden dramatic changes in national economic policy can turn a state controlled economy into a free market economy. When the communism collapsed, there was a painful process and period of transition for all those countries who came out of USSR to convert themselves into a democratic political system. अभी तक हम सिर्फ एक पार्टी के अंडर रहे हैं. अब एकदम से हम डेमोक्रेसी को अपना रहे हैं, कैपिटलिज्म को अपना रहे हैं. तो एक तरीके से it was a shock ना. That is the meaning of shock therapy. Now the very important point or aspect of this chapter is the major consequences of disintegration of Soviet Union. What was the impact, especially on India, when Soviet Union started disintegrating? जब सोवियत यूनियन यानी कि यूएसएसआर टूटना शुरू हुआ, टूट गया, ठीक है, तो उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या पड़ा था ऑन कंट्रीज लाइक इंडिया? द फर्स्ट मेजर ग्लोबल इम्पैक्ट वाज द एंड ऑफ आइडियोलॉजिकल बैटल. In the starting in the chapter 1 also we have studied, in the beginning of this chapter also we have studied that there were two kinds of ideologies which were forming during the Cold War, capitalism and communism. So when USSR disintegrated, it showed the loopholes and faults of socialistic model of economic governance also. So it was seen as a victory of capitalism. Here you can write, it was seen as a victory of capitalism. Basically यही देखा गया ना कि capitalism जीत गया. It was shown as a victory of capitalism over socialism. Over socialism. So it is known as, this kind of victory is known as end of ideology thesis. ठीक है, इस तरीके की victory को हम बोलते हैं end of ideology thesis. So same way in India also we can see capitalism, because we saw the victory of capitalism when USSR disintegrated. Second important consequence was the rise of free market, the rise of free market economic model. So in the shock therapy also we saw that now countries were getting converted into free market economic model. So we saw the dominance of institutions like IMF and World Bank in the global economic governance. And till now, World Bank and IMF, they play a very important role in providing loans to the developing countries. For example, अभी recent case of Sri Lanka, right? हमने इधर देखा IMF और World Bank दोनों ही help करने पहुंचे हैं. Right? India also adopted free market economic model. In which year? In the same year when USSR disintegrated, 1991. हमने LPG reforms लेकर आए थे ना, तो वो एक तरीके का USSR के disintegration का ही नतीजा था. Then third important consequence, the decline in, write it down, the decline in the financial aid to other countries. To other countries. Now we know that India was a member of non-alignment movement. India had a mutual strategic cooperation also with USSR. Why? Because USSR promised in 1971 to India that if somebody tries to attack or harm India, then USSR will protect us militarily. Right? हमने पढ़ा था in the NCERT part 1 class 12 की पहली जो NCERT है उसमें हमने पढ़ा था ना Pakistan, Bangladesh and India war. Right, Bangladesh Liberation War of 1971. So USSR signed the Soviet Treaty of Peace, Friendship and Cooperation. Right. So the financial aid from Soviet Union to India was reduced because of the breaking of USSR. तो ये जो USSR का टूटना हुआ जब कंट्रीज से निकल के गई, तो वो जो 1971 की ट्रीटी थी ना, उसको भी पूरी तरीके से पालन उसका नहीं किया गया. क्यों? क्योंकि जो countries they started breaking away from USSR. Now there was no longer any USSR which was in existence. So the financial help from USSR also basically came down. And that is why in 1991 India faced the balance of payment crisis. इसीलिए जो balance of payment का crisis 1991 में हमने face किया था ना, because of which we were bringing reforms, that was because of the disintegration of USSR only. Okay. Then fourth important aspect, rise of Central Asia. Rise of Central Asia. Now Central Asia became the new center of global interest, particularly from Chinese expansionist ambitions in the region. ये जो चाइना अभी आजकल इतना expansion को follow कर रहा है ना, वो कब से शुरू हुआ है? 1991 से ही शुरू हुआ है. ये चाइना का जो ambition है expand करने का, it had started from 1991 only, because now the focus was on the Central Asia. Now the Central Asia was rising when the two major blocs stopped their competition and war. Now we saw the rise of Central Asia, particularly China. And since then China has been trying to become the next superpower. And then the fifth consequence is reorganization of Eastern Europe. I told you that Eastern Europe started coming out of USSR. So there were changes in politics of Europe which led to the dilution of division between Western and Eastern Europe. Okay, so when USSR started falling down, now the Eastern Europe also started building their own boundaries back again. जैसे जैसे ईस्टर्न यूरोपियन कंट्रीज ने यूएसएसआर से बाहर निकलना शुरू किया, उन्होंने अपनी टेरिटरीज को रीऑर्गेनाइज करना शुरू कर दिया. फॉर एग्जांपल द फॉल ऑफ द बर्लिन वॉल, या यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ जर्मनी, द एंड ऑफ द वॉर्सो पैक्ट, द राइज ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक regimes, it entirely changed the politics of Europe. So we can say that disintegration of USSR resulted in a phase of USA's dominance in the world politics. and nations like India maintained good relations with Russia after disintegration also, क्योंकि इंडिया और रशिया एक कॉमन आइडिया ऑफ मल्टीपोलर वर्ल्ड ऑर्डर शेयर करते हैं. ठीक है, दैट मीन्स पावर शुड बी डिवाइडेड बिटवीन different nations. It should not be in the hands of only one nation. Okay. However, yes, when we talk about China or USA, they basically, have this hidden agenda of unipolar world. The power should only be under, under the hands or umbrella of one nation. But India and Russia, they share the common interest of multipolar world. Okay. Power should be evenly distributed among all the nations. So here the two questions of homework that you need to participate in today is, first, what was shock therapy? Was this the best way to make a transition from communism to capitalism? So here first you will explain what is shock therapy. Shock therapy was a very painful process of transitioning from authoritarian socialist system to a democratic capitalist system. But this transformation system basically was influenced by World Bank and IMF in Russia, Central Asia and Eastern Europe. Now the second part of the question is saying, was this the best way to make a transition from communism to capitalism? The answer can be no. This was not the best way to make a transition. Why? Because it had many drawbacks. For example, Russia, which was a state-controlled industrial nation, it lost about 90% of its industries. It created largest garage sale in history. गैराज सेल क्या होता है? जब आपका जो भी बेकार का सामान है घर का, वो आप कम सस्ते दामों में बेच देते हो बाहर. तो यहाँ पर भी यही हुआ, right? It led to virtual disappearance of entire industries for the restructuring which was carried out by the market forces. Industries were undervalued. They were sold at throwaway prices. It systematically destroyed the old system of social welfare also. As a result, the Russian currency also declined. Inflation was very high. These are the impacts of the shock therapy. ये सारे impacts हैं shock therapy के. तो ये shock therapy एक best way नहीं है transition का, ये आपको explain करना है. Second question is, discuss the major consequences of disintegration of Soviet Union for countries like India. Just now we have discussed it with examples also. Alright, so this was all for today. ये था आपका आज का lecture. I hope you understood the end of bipolar nations now, bipolar or you can say bipolar era. ठीक है, तो ये आपका आज का lecture था. So this was all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know if you have any doubts in the comment section.